Hi, I'm Reid, editor of the Edison Report, and we are here at LEDucation 2025. This is our C-Suite series, and today I am joined by Sean Gaydos, the president of USAI. Sean, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And I must say, a much smaller and thinner Sean Gaydos than what I'm used to.
Thank you. That's kind of you to say, yes.
And you look great, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's been a journey.
Well, it's been a very successful journey
Thank
for
you.
you.
Appreciate that. Appreciate
all right, let's talk a little bit about USAI and innovation.
Yes.
What are some things you're working on?
Well, you know, it's interesting. We've been doing this for a while now, but when I first started in this industry, we were a lighting company. And, you know,
did you start with USAI?
No, I've been here for 35, 40 years. I've been in the industry, but I've actually been with USAI for about 16 now.
Okay.
So, but we, you know, back then I viewed us as a lighting company, and it was just making lighting fixtures. And then as LEDs became more prominent, we became more of a technology company, and it was more about the systems approach to how we would build a solution. And
because you didn't used to be USAI, you were
it was USA Illumination.
Illumination, I remember that.
Yes. So
I remember that.
We go back 86 years. I mean, we actually started back in 1938 at the New York World's Fair.
That was Bonnie's
And that
father?
was Bonnie's grandfather.
Bonnie's grandfather.
And,
Holy cow.
and so Bonnie and David are the grandchildren of the original founder, and he actually started the company building the first metal box that the GE lamp, the very first invention of the fluorescent tube, they had to showcase it at the World's Fair, and they needed a way to display it. And so they asked a local metal bender to make a box for the fluorescent tube. And that was the very first trophy in the lighting industry. And that is how USAI started. It wasn't called that back then, but
I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, so we're a family of innovators. I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's what the Littmans, what their heritage is. So it's just natural that we've gotten to that. But you know, we went from being this lighting company to a technology company, and now it's a solutions company. As the fixtures have become more complex, the jobs have become more complex, and it's no longer about how many lumens do you have, or what beam spread, or even your aperture height. Yeah, it's about, I've got this complex ceiling, or I'm using this wireless control solution, or you know, whatever it is. You know, we did the Sphere project in Vegas 2 years ago, and it was a completely custom fixture from the ground up. So these projects are becoming so much more unique, and they require solutions to solve it. They need a manufacturer who's not just cookie cuttering their solutions and really trying to help them by developing products that can match the needs.
So how are you different than your competitors?
Well, you know, I think
other than technology.
Yeah, I mean, everyone can get access to technology, but understanding it, I think, helps. You know, we've got 18 engineers right now, and we're actually actively looking for 3 more. And I've got 9 salespeople, which is still a lot for a company our size. We have 9 sales managers. We have 18 engineers. I would challenge most other companies to match that ratio. It's usually reversed, right?
Reversed and even less.
Yes. So, you know, when you're driving it, and I can go through all the innovations throughout the years of what USAI has done to downlighting, but when you're leading the industry and people are looking to you as to what's the next big thing, we're constantly being asked that can't just happen organically. You can't just hope it. So we have to drive that through not just having a lot of engineers, but also the labs that we have and the testing that we do. And you know, we might spend 6 months looking at an optic to make sure and perfecting it, and testing it with different LEDs and trying different diffusion lenses and all that stuff. So yeah, sure, anyone could go and buy an off-the-shelf diode and a TIR optic and throw it into the fixture. But that's not what our designers are expecting of us. There's a higher quality and a higher expectation with USAI, and how are we going to drive it forward? And it can't just be, like I said, about the numbers. It has to be about how do we utilize them in the next unique and innovative way.
Well, to that point, you were one of the first ones to come out with a 1-inch downlight.
Yes.
Little ones.
Yes.
I proudly have that in my home. It's been problem-free. And when my neighbors come, obviously they're not in lighting, they are blown away to see how much light I get out of that very quiet ceiling.
Yes, it is amazing that we can get 1,000 delivered lumens out of a 1-inch aperture. But actually what's more interesting about that product is that you can service it through the 1-inch aperture. And there are some other 1-inch products out there, but a lot of times if it goes bad, you're tearing the whole thing out. And with us, we developed a unique way to get up there and change the light engine and the optic through this very small hole that even your finger can't fit through. So, you know, it's just, it's those kind of extra little things that kind of make us a little different to the lighting community.
So if I may, what is next? What is next?
You know, I don't want to tip my hand too much.
But a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So, and obviously smaller apertures, more integration with ceilings, I think is becoming an increased need. We're coming up with some new form factors. I think the bevel look, which, we developed the bevel back 15, 20 years ago. It used to just be that spun aluminum reflector was what a downlight was. And the bevel kind of was something novel back 10, 15 years ago. So what's the next shape? What's those kind of things? Okay. So we're coming up with a couple new form factors. And then at the end of this year, we're going to be releasing a whole new downlight concept. And in my opinion, it's as transformative as our flat housings were when we went from a 6-inch aperture, 6-inch plenum height, down to a 2-inch plenum height. It's kind of that next thing. So I don't want to go too far into what that is, but there's a new thing coming that we're really excited about.
I hope you'll think of me when you are introducing that.
Absolutely. That'll be fourth quarter.
All right, what about wireless controls?
Yes.
What's going on there?
We were fortunate enough that Lutron came to us with the very first wireless commercial solution project out there, and that was BlackRock in New York City. And it wasn't even called Athena at that point. That was just them starting to get into it. And so it was all developing a product for how you could even use this thing, because it had never even been done before. So we cut our teeth on that and had to develop this whole new product from the ground up that would not block the signals and all those kind of things. And so that turned into Athena. Now a lot of people can buy those nodes, but we still are their go-to company when they need something pretty unique for that. But we're not just a Lutron partner. We're working with Casambi, we're working with Enlight, we're doing a large airport here. So we're agnostic, and we always have been with all of our drivers, and we had 19 different driver options.
But with your innovation, it makes sense for Lutron to come to you for this new thing.
Same thing with Armstrong on the ceilings. We're in a fortunate position.
Tell me about that. What's Armstrong
So
doing?
we're, Armstrong had their ceiling partners from way back in the day, but as they've started to go to metalworks and woodworks and even the acoustical trimless, that was something that, the idea of putting a trimless fixture in acoustical tile, that was revolutionary, because we've always done it in gyp ceilings, but try cutting a tile and do a nice clean cut, you're never going to get it. So we had to develop something with them where they were laser cutting it at the factory, specific to our size, but the secret sauce wasn't even in the laser cut, it was making it so that when you actually inserted it, it would be exactly at the right height right out of the factory. You didn't have to worry about the contractor having to try and measure it or get everything to work. So you buy that solution, and that's what really, even with the woodworks, the designers knew that if they bought a USAI product to go into a Armstrong ceiling, that it was tested and tried and true, that it would snap into place right out of the box. And so it's those kind of partnerships that we're having, whether it's with a Lutron, whether it's with an Armstrong, whether it's with Casambi, that we're doing that allow the designer to have confidence that they're not just winging it and hoping for the best.
Okay. Well, Sean, it's a real pleasure to sit down with you.
No, as always.
And congratulations on everything that you're doing.
Thank you, and thank you for having us, and good luck with the rest of the show.
All right. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.